Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. I must apologise for not posting on here for a few weeks. I've been in a bit of a strange headspace with like reading and filming. I go through like these little phases where I'm like really motivated to like, I don't know, film for like my booktok, and then I'll go through phases where I'm really motivated to film for like my fashion and lifestyle. So yeah, so I kind of go through these different phases, and for some reason I just wasn't feeling, sorry, I'm just trying to get myself comfortable. I just wasn't feeling making book content. But tomorrow actually, by the time you see this, it will be April, and I was like, do you know what? I've not done a reading wrap up or like a catch up video with you guys for so long. So today I am going to rate everything that I read in February and March with a yes, no, and a maybe. I thought that if I did a proper reading wrap up, we would literally be here for about 3 hours. So I'm going to do a bit of a brief talk about each book and like how I kind of enjoyed it. But yeah, the majority of this video is going to be just being like yes, no, maybe, and if I enjoyed it. First, we're going to start off with A Dance of Lies. Though this was my first ever ARC read, which I was sent by Bloomsbury, which I was so excited about. This is by Brittany Arena, and I read this after Onyx Storm. It was my first book after Onyx Storm. This was really different to anything else I've kind of read in the romantasy genre, and I really enjoyed this. So this is going to be a big yes for me. It comes out in June, so definitely get it on your TBR. Next up, I finally read Powerless and Reckless by Lauren Roberts in prep for Fearless, which is coming out, I think it comes out this week or next week, which is so exciting. But these were definitely some of my most anticipated reads of 2025. I was so excited to read these books, and I loved them. I knew I was going to love them. Just from looking at the books, I knew I was going to love them. So Powerless was a big yes. Reckless was a yes. I definitely enjoyed Powerless more than Reckless, but still massive yeses. I didn't read Powerful though, which is the novella. I just knew it was going to be sad. I knew it was going to make me cry, and I was like, I'm just not in the mood for it, so I haven't read it. So maybe I'll pick it up at some point. But yeah, I read those two and I absolutely loved them. I've pre-ordered Fearless and I cannot wait. Then I had another ARC sent to me, which is very exciting. So this is Whisper of Warm Storms by C.L. Mecca. This is also a yes. It's only a little book, as you can see. It's the first in a new series. Sorry, I feel like I've got a hair on my face. I just got it. It's the first in a new series, and I feel like this is very much just setting the stage for that series. I kind of wish this book had been a little bit longer, because it felt like things were really starting to kick off and everything was about to happen, and the book finished. So I was a bit like, oh, I wish we'd kind of maybe had, I don't know, maybe like 100 more pages, or I kind of hope that book 2 was coming out relatively soon, because this just felt like a really good taste to the series, and I feel like I want to continue it and see what's going to happen next. Next up, we've got Wings So Wicked by Emily Blackwood. This is a massive yes. This is one of my favourite reads of the year so far. If you love Fourth Wing and you love The Serpent and the Wings of Night, then you'll absolutely love this book. It was like, this book was like if those two books had had a baby. Honestly, loved it. Then I read the sequel, Blood So Brutal, which I don't have on my Kindle anymore because I had to take it off because it was Kindle Limited. So yeah, Blood So Brutal, also a yes. I didn't enjoy it as much as Wings So Wicked, but it was still a very good sequel. Next up, we've got Amid Clouds and Bones by Ella Field. That is a yes. That was a spicy fave standalone romantasy that was absolutely wild. I kind of went in expecting it to just be a bit of fun, a bit of spice, but honestly there was a really good plot within the spice, and there were so many twists and turns. Like, I would think I'd know where the story was going, and then things would do a complete 180 and it'd be like, okay, right, we are not going in the direction that I thought we were. But I really enjoyed it. I couldn't put it down. It was a great read, so I definitely would recommend. Next up, we have got Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Almentrout. Now this is a maybe for me because I just didn't love this book. I don't know what it was about it, but I just wasn't captivated. I read How Does It Feel? This was interesting. The first 40% of the book was really slow. It starts in like modern day Michigan, and I was just like, when are we going to get to this Fae world? Like, it just felt like things were dragging. I was really skimming it. But then once we got into the Fae world, it was really interesting. So basically this human woman she manages to fall through a portal which takes her to a Fae world. She lands on this like Fae prince who thinks she has been sent as an assassin, And yeah, he then says to her, right, well, I'm going to set you free trials, and if you can survive these trials, I'm going to set you free. And he's like a shadow wielder. He's a shadow daddy. He's very much like Reese. You know the gist. So yeah, so it was a really good read. It was spicy. There was like a lot going on after we got over that first 40%. And I was like, okay, I need to read book 2. I read book 2, which was What Did You Do? And I enjoyed it, but it did feel a little bit like, oh my God, like things would take a bit of a crazy direction. There was quite a lot of twists and turns that were happening. The second book, and there is a third book. And I was like, I need a break. Like, it didn't make me want to really like read on and continue the series. So I would probably say like they're maybes for me. I did enjoy them. But I haven't been like compelled to finish the series. Next up, we've got Never Fall for a Dragon. I was looking for just a spicy little fun romantasy read, and this is going to be a no because it was just pretty terrible, if I'm honest. Next up, we've got 3 arcs. I recently joined NetGalley, and I've been very lucky to have been sent and like approved for some arcs to read on my Kindle. So we have got this one, which is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. Now, this is one of the most anticipated reads of 2025. This is one for the Dramini girls. I had no idea how much of a big deal this book was going into it. And it was really, really interesting. I'm going to say it's a massive yes from me. It was written in an incredibly witty and funny way. I feel like it was very British humour, and I just really enjoyed reading it, and the banter between the 2 characters was incredibly good. Then, like I said, we had another arc. So I believe this might actually be out already. This is Poisoner's Vengeance by Talia Greer. I really enjoyed this. It was definitely more of a darker kind of romantasy. And I feel like it was quite light on the fantasy. I did really enjoy it. I thought it was really good. I read it in a couple of days. And yeah, I thought it was a good book. But it's definitely but I definitely say it's lighter on like the fantasy side of things. So yeah, this is a yes. I don't think I said that. I have another arc, which is Silver Alight by Danny Francis. Now, this is 100% a massive yes. This is up there as one of my favourite reads of 2025. This comes out in the summer. I want to say it comes out in May, and you need to get this on your TBR because it was incredible. I could not put this book down. It was so, so good. It's a dystopian fantasy romance book. It very much gave me Hunger Games, Divergent vibes, and it was just so good. So in this world, basically mind magic and mind powers is completely illegal, and the world is the continent is run by people called the Primes, who don't have mind magic, and the people who do have mind magic are called mods, and a lot of them are kind of hidden in plain sight. The main character Ren in this story is a mod, and she's incredibly powerful, and due to some circumstances at the beginning of the book, she finds herself being enlisted to train for Silver Alight, which is basically the Prime's military. It kind of felt like their SAS. So she has to train whilst concealing her true identity and her powers. And yeah, there's a very kind of broody Xaden type figure who's called Cross, who's like is he her general or commander? But yeah, it's very much Xaden and Violet vibes. Like, yeah, this very much was like Fourth Wing, Diversion, just so good. Let's move on to my March books. That was everything that I read in February. Now, got another arc. This is Beg the Night by Emily Blackwood. I was really excited to get sent this because Emily Blackwood wrote Wings So Wiki, which I read back in Feb. Absolutely loved it. This is the first book in a new series. It's definitely a dark romantasy book. It's called The Mystics of Ashura, book 1. So in this book here, it's a similar situation where like mind magic and magic is kind of like forbidden, and if you do have these powers and you're kind of sent to like this dungeon and you're mated with someone else who has powers, and there's different tiers depending on how powerful you are, and when you mate with another powerful being, your powers become really strong, and then basically the kind of people in charge then used you as like a weapon, and that's your way of kind of living. So the main character finds herself taken in this dungeon, and she finds that she's basically claimed by this really like tall, broody, scary shadow wielder called Sinner, who said he's going to mate with her, and she's a bit like, what on earth? And it's just basically her journey of trying to get out of this dungeon, like how to kind of escape the mating, like what is going on, what's happened to her family. And so yes, it was a really interesting read. I feel like not a lot happened. It was really kind of setting up the story for book one, but even though not much happened, I was still really engrossed in this book. Like I couldn't put it down. I really like Emily's writing. I feel like she writes romantasy books really, really well. I love the relationship between the characters. The spice was good. The slow burn was really good. I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, if you like the darker side of romantasy, think like Phantasma, Nocatadia, like that kind of vibe, then I feel like you'll really, really like this. So definitely get it on your TBR when it does get released. I think it comes out next month. Might even be this month, actually. I'll pop it down below, like all the details. It's a yes, by the way. I don't think I said. Next up, we have Empire of Flame and Thorns by Marion Blackwood. This is a big yes for me. I love this book. This just felt like romantasy at its finest. We had trials, we had dragons, we had fae. Honestly, what is not to love? Then I read the sequel, which is Throne of Ice and Blood. That was also a yes too. I read Ruthless Enemies by Marion Blackwood just on Kindle Unlimited. That for me was a no. I just thought it was a bit pants, to be honest. I'm sorry. A standalone romantasy. So this is Throne of the Fallen. For this, I'm going to give it a maybe because I just didn't love this book. I felt like it was really long and I felt like it took me so long to read because I just didn't find myself overly engrossed in it. A book that I read in March, which I haven't read these in order, by the way, but I decided to try a little cowboy book. This is Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope, and for me, this is a maybe. I just don't think I'm ready to read about humans yet, even if they are sexy cowboys. I feel like I'm just not there. I still need my fae, I still need my dragons, I still need my vampires, I still need my magic. And I feel like the humans, they just aren't doing it for me. It was a fun, spicy little read that I basically read all in one night, but I wasn't obsessed. And I don't think I'll be like picking up the other books like soon. But yeah, it kind of just made me realize that I'm not ready to leave behind fantasy romance just yet. I'm still not in my human era, which is fine. I've been in my human era for a very long time. But yeah, it was okay. Very light, easy to read, but I need my fantasy romance. I need my fae. I need my dragons. So there we go. There is everything that I read in February and March. I feel like I've read some really good books this month and I've read some really good arcs, which I'm so excited for them to come out so I can talk to you guys about them. But yeah, I feel like the majority of the books that I've read, I've really enjoyed. I'm reading a book at the moment, which I'm really, really enjoying, but I'll talk to you about that next month. But all I'm going to say is I'm getting Throne of Glass vibes, which is very exciting. I've got some big books that I really want to read to put on my TBR for next month. My book club book of the month was When the Moon Hatched, which I didn't end up getting around to reading this month, but I need to read that. I really want to read The Crimson Moth. So yeah, I feel like there's some big names that I really need to get on and read, so I'm really excited. Let me know what you guys have been reading. I'd absolutely love to know. But yeah, I'm going to go now. Hopefully I'll be back soon with more regular videos. I hope you're doing really well. Bye!